Welcome to Nova Now. I'm your host, Jessica Dawley. The Nova Mini Maker Faire brings together an amazing collection of Northern Virginia tech enthusiasts, engineers, woodworkers, artists, and craftspeople to demonstrate what they're making. And here to tell us about this year's event are Brian Jacoby and Fred Briggs, both from Nova Labs. Welcome and thank you for joining us.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So let's start out. We want to talk about the Maker Faire, but first, you're both with Nova Labs. So let's talk about what is Nova Labs and kind of what's the relationship there.
Sure. Nova Labs is one of the main sponsors of the Maker Faire, and Nova Labs itself is a makerspace in Reston. And so I think when you think makerspace, think shared community workshop. We have access to tons and tons of tools that nobody would have space or be able to afford to put in their garage.
Excellent. And so Nova Labs helps sponsor the Maker Faire. How does that?
There's a set of folks that is on an organizing team like me. It's actually a community group that is affiliated with Nova Labs, and we're one of the main sponsors of the fair.
Okay, and what is the fair? What do you do? What do you find there? What's the background of it?
Sure, this is now the third year that we're doing it, and it's coming up in March 13th of this year. Think of it's really sort of hard to explain actually. So think of it as a adult science fair. There's really not a competition per se, but people are trying to take neat projects that they're working on, sometimes take a hobby to make it commercial. In other cases, it's really projects that will never become commercialized, but are just really whimsical, Rube Goldberg-ish, or kind of craft-like.
Sure. And speaking of taking hobbies and trying to make them commercial, Fred, I think that's one of the things that you do at the fair. Tell us about your projects.
Yeah, so I have a drone project. It actually started with Nova Labs and a team project we called Rhino Hawk, and it was part of a competition to try and stop rhino poaching in South Africa. And so Nova Labs put on a team to develop low-cost UAV technology to try and stop the poaching. And we were having trouble raising funds for the project, so what we ended up doing is developing a small UAV all built out of Dollar Tree foam board, hot glue, and packing tape. So dirt cheap, really simple, anyone can build it. And we ran those as classes to get people involved and raise some money for the project. And those classes went really, really well, and that's sort of what got me going on this. And so I've taken those kits and sort of refined the designs a little bit, and I'll be showing off some of the UAV designs at Mini Maker Faire, and I'll have a large, drone cage where we can fly some of the designs inside, and be showing off some of the technology at Mini Maker Faire.
Let's see, speaking of the technology, we've brought some here, right?
Yeah, so have this one, which is again, all built out of Dollar Tree foam board, and at Nova Labs we have a laser cutter that'll cut these into kits, and then you'll get the kit and you can just take some packing tape and hot glue and assemble everything. This one's actually vertical takeoff and landing, so you can actually take off like a helicopter and hover and then transition into airplane mode.
Wow, that's really cool. And are people able to kind of control this themselves at the Maker Faire in this drone thing? Or
no.
Do they need to bring their own? How does that work?
We'll be selling kits, and they're welcome to buy a kit and take it home and fly their own.
Okay, excellent. Okay. So we see one type of participation in the Maker Faire. What are some other examples of participants?
It's really hard to classify in some ways. So people come up with, there's tons of robots, 3D printers, there's people doing primitive tools, basically Stone Age tools. There's a bunch of folks doing sustainable projects, both gardening, solar, all those sorts of things. There's crafty people and also sculpture artist people. We'll really kind of group these in kind of neighborhoods that folks are kind of together with the same things. And people really do the most amazing things.
So what will happen for a visitor? Let's say I walk in, I've never participated in a craft, I'm not a crafty person, I'm not a builder. What's there for me? What do I experience when
Right, so it's an interesting question. So most people think, oh, this is for kids, and to some extent it is, but most parents come with their kids and end up being engaged in some of the activities themselves. We have lots of hands-on activities. There's a learn to solder, area, so you could learn how to solder. I'm sure Fred will talk you into one of the planes. He's amazing at that. So we've sort of emphasized a lot of hands-on things where people can kind of participate and experiment and play with things as they go.
Part of it's exposure to new technology. 3D printers are a really hot topic, and people hear about them all the time, the cool things they're making, but you may have never seen one, and what can it actually do and how does it work? There'll be lots of 3D printers in an event. A lot of them will be actually running jobs right in front of you, so you can actually see some of the parts it's made, watch one in action, talk to some of the builders and people who run them. There's a guy who has an old teletype machine, and he modified and put some electronics into it, put it on the internet, so you can, from your phone, text to it, and the thing will type right in front of you through the internet. So repurposing old technology and just cool projects like that. So it's a lot of exposure to new technology.
Some of this, I guess this is generally under what you'd call STEM learning, but sort of what they would also call unstructured learning. So, if kids go through this in school, it's really kind of static and kind of very purposeful, in terms of this is what you learn. This is kind of more open-ended, where you basically can kind of experiment, spend as much time as you want with any particular pursuit.
Sure. So aside from participating in the fair itself as a maker and visiting the fair, are there other ways to get involved that you can just highlight really quickly for us?
Sure. On our website, there's actually links for signing up as a volunteer. You get a cool T-shirt like this. Well, not like this, but we'll have an updated
for
one.
This year, yes.
There, you can basically be a vendor if you have kind of maker-ish kinds of things, and I guess Fred may be one of those, or folks that are around that kind of drone area, and then also sponsors. We are trying to just have enough participation to put it on.
Great. March 13th, what time?
11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Great. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
For more information about Nova Labs or the Nova Mini Maker Faire, visit www.makerfairenova.com. I'm Jessica Dolly. Thanks for watching Nova Now.